Again, it would be irresponsible and premature of me to call this terrorism. The FBI defines terrorism very specifically, and we are still, that is the big question for us, is what is the motivation for this? First and foremost, the integrity of this investigation, again, is paramount. Secondly, it's ultimately to determine the motive and the inspiration for this attack.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was the FBI agent in charge of the investigation on the scene in San Bernardino, California, speaking today. Welcome back to the special edition of the Steve Malzberg Show, the shooting in California. And joining me right now is Rick Ungar, senior political contributor at Forbes.com and co-host of Steele and Ungar on SiriusXM. All right, Rick, so here we are, I guess a little over 24 hours later. And I realize that the FBI has a lot of T's to cross and I's to dot, or vice versa. But to you, the layman, and me, the layman, I mean, I don't see any other answer but radical jihad based on what we've learned.
Clearly going in that direction, to say the least. It's interesting, just since this morning, how the story has developed and changed. What I'm finding particularly interesting, and we've seen this now in a few of these terrible things that have happened, the police are not being particularly forthcoming. They seem to want to hang on to the evidence until they've really worked through it. But yeah, it's obviously becoming clear that this is something we'd hope wouldn't be happening.
Especially the FBI in that scenario. How do you feel, as someone who's more to the left than me, certainly, about the immediate reaction by Hillary Clinton, Bernie Sanders, and even today sitting in the Oval Office by Barack Obama? But let's focus on Hillary. I mean, O'Malley attacks the NRA, Hillary guns, even today Hillary guns.
Yeah.
How do they?
I'll just quickly say, I think the president's in a little bit of a different position in terms of how he handles it. I'm not in agreement at all with the way Hillary, Bernie, all of them, all the Democrats yesterday, and I'm one of them. I don't like this idea of jumping to the gun discussion. First of all,
no pun intended. No pun intended.
No pun intended.
And no pen intended.
I think it lacks taste. You don't have that discussion the day something horrible. There are people in San Bernardino, a community I'm close to. I have a home in San Bernardino County. These people are suffering. Let's think about them first and foremost right now. Number two, you take a big chance when you start doing the gun pitch only to find out 24 hours later, guess what? This is a bigger priority issue. We may want to argue about guns, but we don't argue so much about terrorism. We all agree when it comes to terrorism. So I think it was just a very foolish thing to do.
Well, we agree to an extent about terrorism, and what my next question was going to be, whether or not the FBI, and if the FBI announces that this wasn't terror, it didn't meet the definition of terror, I think there'll be an uproar. And that won't be good for the Democrats or Obama. But I think if they announce it is terror, and they say he had contact and was radicalized by known terrorist people at home and abroad, there apparently were more men involved coming in and out of the house, but right on down the line, then we just, in a sense, became Paris to a great extent. So that's not going to be good either.
Well, look, there's a few things, we don't know a lot, but there's a few things we do know. This was not a situation where somebody got into a fight with his work colleagues, stormed out, went home and got his gun, and went crazy. His home was a bloody arsenal.
A bomb factory.
Right. So whether he had planned on doing this yesterday, he planned on doing something.
And he traveled to Pakistan and Saudi Arabia, and we have the reports he was radicalized, and CBS says they searched ISIS websites.
So, whether it doesn't really matter what his targeting may have been, he had a target.
Yeah,
and he executed yesterday, and it's going to be what it's going to be.
And politically speaking, Hillary has already said that Muslims have absolutely nothing to do with terror. How long, if you ask most Americans now, they disagree, but how long could she go along and the left go along with that? It's not a Muslim thing. We won't say radical jihad. It's just it's farmers who lost their water.
Right, but there's you said two separate things there. I actually agree with you when it comes to radical. If it is radical Islamic jihad, that's what it is. And if that's what it is, say that's what it is.
Right.
No crime.
Right.
The only place where I see them being careful is you don't want to indict an entire religion for the acts of some.
Sure.
So, but I'm with you on this, actually. I don't understand why the president can't say those three words.
Yeah, it's very interesting. All right, you will join me in the 7 o'clock hour on the panel. Thank you, sir. And up next is Newsmax Now. I'll be back at 7 and 10 p.m. Eastern for another hour of the Steve Malzberg Show. Thank you all for watching.